your purpose is to just be you, purely you. Whatever you feel drawn to, go do that. Whatever your heart says yes to, go do that. Your heart will smile, and that's how you know.
Welcome to Love Magic Miracles. I'm Alina GG, and if you're a soul-led entrepreneur who wants to make a big impact in the world, you're in the right place. And if you'd love to weave feminine embodiment into your everyday and quantum leap every area of your business and love life to new heights, then plug into these conversations with these inspiring thought leaders and hit subscribe, comment, like, and share with someone you care about today. Hi, it's Alina GG from Love Magic Miracles, and I have an exciting announcement. Doors are officially open to the Safe to Be Seen Accelerator program. Now, this 12-week container is for you if you're sick of playing small, you're done hiding, you're ready to embody your messaging and your business, and you really want to show up at that next level and feel good about it. For years, I felt like it actually wasn't safe to be seen, and if I'm honest, it was because it was subconscious. It wasn't really conscious. I couldn't really tell you why I felt unsafe to be seen. It wasn't like everyone really was going to judge me or tell me I wasn't good enough, but it was actually more my inner critic telling me, right? That voice inside my head. And I don't know if we can really silence that inner critic. I don't know if anyone can ever really do that, but we can turn that volume down. And I'm here to hold space for others to do that, right? To really connect deeper in to those visibility blocks and start to turn the volume down on your inner critic, and then turn the volume up on your self-expression and who you are and your purpose and your messaging and your aliveness and your brilliance, and get it out in the world. So if this excites you, head on over to lovemagicmiracles.com, check out the Safe to Be Seen Accelerator program and the testimonials, and join now. Thank you so much, Dennis, for joining me for this amazing chat about healing, transformation, sacred alchemy, and strengthening your intuition. Listen to it through to the end for insights in how to deepen all of those things. Enjoy. Hello, it's Alina GG from Love Magic Miracles, and today I have a very special guest for you. Welcome aboard, Dennis Gray.
Kia ora. How are you?
Oh, I am great. And it's funny, we were just speaking into an introduction and who you are, and it's like all these different labels, but we're just going to let the whole light come through and the light codes that you seem to draw through in the work you do. You know, you support men in men's circles. Yeah. And you were just talking about you help underprivileged youth.
What do I do? I just do things that I guess I'm drawn to, things that I think are fun, I like. So I work in the day, I work with kids, at-risk youth. I run programs at a PCYC here in Melbourne. I also do disability support programs for kids in the holidays, which I love. I've grown up around a lot of kids. I have more than 23 nieces and nephews. So in our culture, it's kind of normal just to grow up like looking after the other kids. So I've always been around that. Currently, I facilitate sort of men's circles and men's events, and do ceremonies, which incorporate all the things that I love doing, which is like kundalini, sound, some activations of various sorts, which I'm sure we'll get into. And around that space, I make elixirs and conscious enhancers, or things that activate what's already in us. And then on the other end of the spectrum, I compete in flair bartending, which is spinning bottles and making cocktails. I've been doing that for over 16 years, and I represent Australia in that. Well, I have at Worlds for the last 4 years. And I'm currently just taking a role as the president of the guild, so running the competitions and being in a space where I have a message to share, which I'm on a platform which I can do it on an international level. So those things, that's kind of where I'm at the moment.
That's great. Now, that sounds like there's a lot of energy going out. How do you draw your energy in and replenish your own cup?
love spending time alone. So whenever I'm not doing anything, I really, really enjoy time alone. When I say alone, I don't mean alone, I mean with my dog, to be honest. Um, I've been gifted a big, beautiful lion of a dog, which is much needed. And he's been my teacher and my support system besides my 40 odd family members throughout this journey. But because they're all in New Zealand, I'm here and it's just me and him. So, which is great. But I have so much downtime when I'm not doing things that it's really good. It really balances it out.
Mhm. Oh, that's good. And you're at the tail end of like an 8-day fast, is that right?
The tail end, the tail end would be nice to say yes, that it's the tail end. Currently in an 8-day fast. Quickly, so since I've been in Melbourne, I lost my sense of smell for a number of reasons. Um, and about 3 years ago, during COVID, my body, because I actually had mold in my house and it got really bad. I never knew, but my body told me to fast for 21 days. I did that. My smell came back on the 16th day. Um, Unfortunately, 2 months later, I got COVID intentionally. I won't get into that, but I did. And since then, my smell hasn't come back. But for the next part of my journey, I'm going to need it, and I just really want it back, obviously.
Mm,
But being,
mm,
living without it smell for so long, a sense of smell, um, I have unfortunately gotten used to it.
mm. But
So
doesn't it affect your taste and how taste your food? Oh, that's challenging. Yeah.
I taste sweet, sour, bitter, spicy, salty, and umami. So it
Okay.
is what it is, and it like for a while I was just like, you kind of just forget about it
Mm-hmm.
because it just becomes what it is. But I went into a bit of a healing journey at the end of last year, doing my own podcast in real time, seeing different healers
Mm-hmm.
for my smell. And it ended up being this whole healing journey and pretty much showing me how me having no smell at this point in time is such a gift because of
Mm-hmm.
my intuition is insane. What I've learned from this gift is more than having no smell, I guess, for me. So I did see it as a gift. I do see it as a gift for now, but I think time is up and I'm ready to smell the roses.
Mm,
Oh,
mm.
sure.
Okay, so it's propelled you onto healing journey. Do you feel that there's any other reasons or energy under that sense of smell? Is it symbolic of anything?
1,000%. I believe there's generational stuff in there that's slowly dissolving. I also believe, well, that's what I feel. I feel that because of the work I do, and I'm quite a hermit, but I'm introverted and extroverted. I feel in a way that my body is a bit of a filtration system for the collective around
Mm.
me, if that makes sense.
Yep,
Where
100%.
I've been positioned uh, in Melbourne is very dense energy. It is right in the middle of it. And I feel that I'm here for that specific purpose to help this area. And I do feel my body takes it on a lot because as soon as, I mean, recently I was on the Gold Coast. As soon as I landed, within a day, sinus is cleared.
Hmm.
Second day, I smelt something. And
Wow.
I was just like, all right. So I do know that this path energetically is coming to an end this year. So
Mm, mm,
work will be done here.
mm. So with alchemy and like what I was receiving from your messaging on your website and is that you're using yourself as the kind of the channel or the like I want to say guinea pig, but for want of a better word, you're almost like experimenting on yourself and getting to a certain point of a state, then you're going to infuse that into your elixirs. Is that right?
I do, yes, 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 definitely. So so 8 years ago, I had this big, well, it actually started in 2011, to be honest, from when I was born. But that was when I started kind of out of nowhere, I started fasting. started doing all these things, started yoga. And then around 8 years ago is when I had this big jump where I just stopped everything. And I was drawn to, because I lived a life of being super unconscious. I was bartending, spinning bottles around the world. It was great. Um, but I was a massive alcoholic and I was just doing everything and anything. So I went from that to being the exact opposite. And I just had to answer questions. Why was I here? What am I doing? Why don't I feel fulfilled? And it led me on this journey to consciousness and our potential as human beings and learning how unlimited we were and seeing who had done it in the past, the ancients like the yogis, the siddhas. I wanted to know what was possible and do it myself.
Yeah.
So that's what I've constantly been doing. And I found a elixir that you can make, which enhances consciousness that the Egyptians used to make for the pharaohs. And I started making it and I started being guided to do these crazy, wild things. This is 8 years ago. And within 4 months, I was making elixirs in my house and copper pyramids, making them under full moons, imprinting them with Reiki, and then following signs and numbers to bury them in ley lines in sacred spots around Melbourne. And these elixirs were helping me or activating me, what was already in me, to walk into my dreams, to remember my lives that I was currently living in, obviously, just other frequencies, and to be able to tap into whatever gifts I needed from that life to help me on my journey in this life.
Wow. That's super inspiring. So you're planting a light grid in the earth.
I I feel like we do that just by existing at a certain frequency. But when I'm doing these elixirs, I work on, let's say we have the grid, the ley lines. I call them dragon lines. Um, but I bury this stuff in there so that mother can finish the nurturing of it. It's a very celestial medicine, and I feel like it needs both the earthly and the elemental and the celestial energies. I do that, and then I take them and I offer them through ceremonies. And for me, it is, I think it's the at the top of elixirs. There's not very many people who know about it. I mean, I was just actually watching a podcast with Terence McKenna. I think that's his name. But if you've seen that, he is just breaking the world by storm right now, talking about all the stuff, and they get into the Anunnaki and gold and how gold has been sought out over generations, and they can't really understand why because it's you can't really do much with it. Whereas monatomic gold or monoatomic gold or almost, which is the stuff I make, is completely different. And that's what I think that these godlike beings were taking to sustain their life force or their vitality when they were in their physical form here.
Mm. Wow, that's just intriguing. I would love to try some. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Is it drops like for under the tongue, or how do you do it? How do you take? Yeah.
So I put it into, it's more bioavailable and drops under the tongue. That's how I take it. I've also, like I said, because of my smell, everything I do is by intention. So I make oils, I mix with frankincense, myrrh, a bit of blue lotus, and put it in oil form, like a ritual oil.
Mm.
And then, yeah, I actually pair it in ceremonies with a cacao or cocoa from Samoa. That's quite funny because I hold space, and for me, I am not going to sit with a medicine or anything like that unless I've got a deep, deep connection to it. So obviously with Dragonormous, that's what I call the stuff I make. Um, it comes from me, well, it's channeled through me and I make it, so I'm deeply connected. And I'd always known about cacao and I'd been to ceremonies and stuff, but I'd never like wanted to work with it. I thought I'd keep it personal until I met a friend of mine, and as soon as my heart was just, it just started like, I know when something's right when my heart just wants to cry.
Mm.
And
Mm.
I met her, and then she just, and I was like, whoa, we're gonna work together, like, whoa. And it's like her plantation from her like family, and like I was just like, and then she told me they like biodynamically grow it under the Pleiadian star system, and I'm like, it was very aligned to how I felt and how my medicine that I make works. the way they come together, it's beautiful, especially in ceremony.
Beautiful. Do you feel close to your ancestors?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. You feel their presence?
I feel them all. I feel like we are there.
Okay. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. And you said a rainbow tribe?
So this biological body is I'm Māori. So my writing's going wild. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm Māori. My mum and my dad are Māori, and I've got Scottish in me.
Hmm.
My dad's, we've got a few tribes that we're connected to. One is through the Uinuku, which is the Rainbow War Gods, and we're part of this other tribe. It's like a nocturnal owl tribe, and I'm very nocturnal. I'm actually, how do you say it? You know how you've got night owls and early birds? Well, I'm both. They call them a hummingbird.
Oh, great.
So I don't sleep much, but it's kind of fine. Like
Wow.
as well.
So not eating, not sleeping. Thanks for joining me today for this conversation.
I mean, I guess we all do what we do, but
Mm,
I just don't feel we need it. It depends. I mean, if I'm to physically exhaust my physical body and I'm learning something mentally a lot, I will need more. I
yeah.
will need more sleep and I will need more rest. Um, but if I'm fasting, you definitely need, you don't need that much sleep.
Mm, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is all only my own personal experience. So
Yeah.
everybody do whatever they do.
Wow. And so when you were 19, you cured yourself of cancer, is that right?
Correct. I would say that my body, as I think we can all heal ourselves from anything, given the right conditions internally and externally, and obviously massively the right mindset. I got diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and it was wild because I had grown up like 17, left home, had pretty much been a Jehovah's Witness up until then, so had no idea about the outside world. 19, got diagnosed, and then went into this whole health thing, which I'd never known about. Eating organic, and it's when I was first introduced into Reiki, and I was getting Reiki done on a regular basis, which I had no idea. I just go there and I just pass out, and I just wake up feeling amazing, and that went on for about a year and a half, just like a consistent protocol of like health and nutrition. I've got to say the biggest thing about it was my mindset at the time was just like I am so fine. It
Mm,
was like it didn't even exist, but I did have a lump on my face.
wow.
Yeah, that was I mean, that's originally why I went. I was like, it didn't look good, so I went there and they did a biopsy and then, yeah, all the rest.
Mm, mm. Well, that's very inspiring that you took your health into your own hands and you came out on top and
Well,
yeah.
my mum did, to be honest, because I had no idea what was going. My mum stepped in,
Mm-hmm.
just like bang, 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 and I just followed lead. And I
Mm-hmm.
think just with my mindset of just like I will always be good, um, definitely. But I definitely owe that part of the journey to my mum who came up and stepped in, and my dad and my whole family who supported me. They're amazing.
That's great. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And so what do you find when you're helping hold space in men's circles? What are some of the biggest challenges that they're facing at the moment?
Knowing who they are,
Knowing who they are.
knowing who they are,
Mm,
tapping into themselves and
mm,
direction. I mean, we're at this, I feel like we're at this point collectively where obviously after COVID, there was this massive collective awakening, which there truly was. And there's just so much out there. There's so much information.
mhm,
And without a deep connection to self, it's very hard to filter through all that. So you're not only in this world that's going chaotic, you're in this, I want to say, trending spiritual space where all the stuff's been pushed at you. And yeah, there's a lot of people learning stuff that's helping them and not helping them. And I guess just knowing who people are, I've noticed that come up a lot. And I find it's really it's good when you get older people, because a lot of the newer ones are sort of in their 20s and 30s and they're stepping into the space. And I think it's when the older ones who step in, who, let's say, woke up a little bit earlier, like I feel it's our duty to step in, because I don't know, I feel like we learn through wisdom. Not saying that I'm old or young, I don't really do age. I
Yeah, great. Neither.
I don't celebrate birthdays, they're rituals.
Mm-hmm.
Enough, I chose to grow up as a Jehovah's Witness, so we don't do that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just being in the space and seeing it, there's a lot of guidance that's needed, but also, yeah, I mean that just comes up a lot. As soon as someone knows themselves, I can feel it. Like you feel it when you meet someone and they just know who they are, and they can just stand there and look at you. It's a big difference.
Yeah, it's a powerful space to be in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like a priority to stay there because then we can feel connected to our purpose and we can show up every day. We just remember who we are, right? We come back to our center, to our hearts. Yeah. And then we know who we are. And then we can let go of all the crap we don't need.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of that.
Yeah. A lot of decluttering, right? Like you said, it's great that there's so much information out there and people's minds are expanding to new possibilities, but we still need to remember our own sovereignty and listen to our own intuition, right? And you were saying your intuition's so strong, right? And that's obviously been a process for you to get to that point. And how do you experience and hear and feel your intuition?
Um, if my heart says yes, that's when I know. I know something because I feel like crying. It feels like
Oh yeah, yeah,
my heart
yes.
just bursts open, and I'm just like, I can cry right now massively. Like, and that's when I'm like, that's a yes from me.
Yeah,
And I guess
great.
I've learned to trust it
Mm,
a lot because I haven't trusted it, and I've learned my lessons from that also massively enough to be like, all right, I'm all in. Like, let's go.
mhm.
Wherever this is going, I know it's right for me. So, and
Yeah,
forever,
cool.
like, still forever for sure.
Yeah, ongoing process. So, yeah, good. So, listening to our intuition and our internal GPS is about those yeses and those nos and just feeling them and not trying to cover up or deny or change it because our ego sometimes wants to jump in and go, "Oh no, override it. That's too out there or I'm not going to do that or that's uncomfortable." But then our intuition is like, "This is it. It's just a knowing, it's just a yes. It's a full body yes." Yeah.
Yeah. Even for me, it's like I don't even like. I've got to check in with myself when I'm like, I know when I say that I know, but I'm like for me, I really have to check in when I start thinking like that because, like, for me, all glory goes to God. It's not me. So when I'm start like, yeah, I know this, I don't know nothing. But what I do know is that there's a more
Mm.
powerful force that I can trust that knows, and that's what I'm good with.
Wait, could you say that again, please?
There's just a more powerful divine force that we're connected to that I trust in. And when I say I know, it's more like I know that I trust that force.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So with Kundalini practices, what is that? Is that something that you use with breath and body and yoga? What's your version of tapping into that?
What do, wow, that's a big question.
Mhm.
Kundalini is like, to me, and for what it is, if we are the most advanced technology that I'm aware of thus far in this earth realm universe. And Kundalini is like the instruction manual of how to use us on every level. So it's a way to, oh, for me, it's just been so powerful. And I still haven't even scratched the surface, and it's been 8 years. Like I'm reteaching myself now more and more and more every day. So I utilize it through breath work. Like I use it in ceremonies and stuff because it's so powerful and potent. But it's all the stuff around it, the lifestyle, the what it does consciously. Um, it's been the biggest game changer for me. I actually thought I learned about it from the Bible. I don't know if you've heard of the sacred secretion,
No, tell me more.
Christos oil. So 8 years ago, I found out there's a guy called Santos Bonacci, who, funnily enough, is a Jehovah's Witness as well, who was an ex-Jehovah's Witness. And I had started looking into his stuff, and he talks about like synchronicity, and he created this whole template of how things work. And he started going on about how the Bible was an instruction manual on how to regenerate every cell in our body, how to live forever. And they call it the sacred secretion or the rising of the Christos oil. And it blew me away. So I started studying it, I started doing it. And from my experience, it's absolutely aligned. It makes sense. You pretty much, we get the sacred seed that drops into our body every month, depending on your zodiac sign. And you have the opportunity as it naturally raises up your spine to not only keep it clean, to keep its life force high in a high vibration, but you can imprint it with vibrations. And as it raises up from these lower systems to these higher ones, it gets activated. It sits in your hypothalamus, I think it is, for 2.5 days, like Jesus' death and rebirth. The whole story is about Jesus, like Christ's ascension up the 33 vertebrae, which is your spine, and activating the neocortex, creating enlightenment. And it's this monthly cycle that can regenerate every cell in our body. That's what they say. And it's harnessing sexual energy as well. It's all tied in. And I think it's the truth. I think it's what alchemy truly is, or one of the way, the internal alchemy. And once, because you're living a life, you're not drinking, you're not putting anything in your body. And ultimately, I reckon that we are already where we're meant to be. We've just got a whole lot of crap around us. So it's a purification process where everything just starts to dissolve away. And by doing that, we kind of let's show what's already there. That's what this is. So that was 7 years ago I did it, and now I'm actually doing it again because I believe that this process, this internal alchemy, they actually call it the seed. They call the manna of the heavens, and in the Bible they call it the manna. And manna is monatomic gold, or almost the stuff that I make. So I do this process and I make it. So I make it internally and externally. And that's the only way that it can be made, I believe. So yeah, so it all kind of comes together. It's all sort of symbiotic, if that's the word.
Wow.
Wild.
There's a lot there. Yeah, because that makes sense. When I studied yoga in India, it was with the mixture of hatha, tantra, kundalini as well. So yeah, that all rings true. I noticed you don't use the word chakras, but like it's energy centers, right? Doesn't matter what you call it, it's all the same thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
whatever anyone wants. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever works for someone.
Yeah. Yeah, great. So it's about going within, connecting to what's there, and having processes to purify and burn away the dross that's in
Yeah.
our system and around us. Yeah.
Definitely, in regards to this process, I mean, I am, as of today, 144 days in. And this is also my process, me personally. I'm abstaining from everything, including sex and stuff like that. So I'm remaining celibate because I really want to see what this is about. I mean, the yogis did it. There's a yoga called, I think it's called Siddha yoga. It's a yoga of accomplishment where they used to do this to accomplish these superhuman or supernatural
Oh, yeah.
abilities.
The cities, the
Exactly.
superpowers. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
like levitation, all this sort of stuff. And I
Yeah,
believe that this is all, I learned about this ages ago. This is where like when I heard about human potential, I was like,
yeah.
whoa, I want to know if this is true. So right now I'm in this process, and that's kind of not an end result, but that's just something I think is naturally available to us in the right
Mm,
state.
mhm,
We just have to clean ourselves.
mm,
So that's kind of the purification journey that I'm personally on at the moment.
mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, great. And so along that journey, it's like what I'm feeling from you is a sense of acceptance as well. So not making things like, oh no, if you get a purification symptom, it's not like making it bad. It's like, this is just part of the process, right? This is just part of the process. Whatever's coming up, like whatever you're releasing from your mind or your body or anything like that, that's just part of it, right?
Oh, for sure. It is what it is. I mean, even like now, I can barely breathe out of my nose. But I know
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, it's just part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing like when we change, like when I changed the words from I'm sick, like I would 10 years ago, I would have been like, oh, I'm so sick. But right now, like, I don't believe in that. I'm healing. This is my body
Yes.
healing. I'm not
Yes.
sick. This is what my body's trying to
Mm.
heal, whatever it needs to
Yes.
heal. I mean, would we hold like 14 generations within us? I mean, I'm multi-Scottish. And I do past life regressions myself, and I've done regressions on myself, and there's a lot. There's a lot to chip through from both sides of the family. So I mean, it is what it is, and I'm in a position where I'm open to resolve whatever needs to go through. I mean,
Mm.
very little responsibility in regards to children besides my giant beautiful dog. So
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, that's great. That's so inspiring because that is going to have a positive ripple effect on your environment and the people around you, and I was thinking about that saying the other day, hurt people. So if we don't take responsibility for our own healing and our own sovereignty, then we're being more unconscious and unknowingly potentially causing harm.
100%. But even then, it's still like if that's what we're doing, I reckon then that's it's part of our journey.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, like so much stuff. I've been like, especially with everything going on around, I've got to always check into myself to not think good or bad of anyone because there is no such thing. I don't believe. I think everything's a lesson or an experience.
Mm. Yeah,
That,
there's another quote that I like, see the best in everyone and leave the rest to God.
yeah, literally. Or just see God in everyone.
Hmm.
Because that's the part that we should be speaking to, I reckon. And trying
Okay.
to do that. I mean, it's like one of my biggest things I'm trying to work on is just seeing the divinity in everyone every day.
Yeah.
Because
Nice.
I'm living smack bang in St. Kilda. I live in a pretty like, there's a lot of characters around here. And it's seeing through all that, it's seeing the good in them. Well, see the godlike side in them. It's no matter what, if they're yelling at you, they're screaming at you, they're chasing you, whatever. Yeah, it's working around that. So
Hmm.
it's wild, but I don't know, it's good. I feel like I'm in a training chamber.
Hmm. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's a great way to look at it, right? Our challenges are training us, making us stronger, preparing us for our next iteration as we remember who we are and relax and surrender into our full presence.
Yep, for
Yeah.
sure.
Mm. So I noticed you put a post up about conscious relationships.
Oh yeah, that's what it's about.
Tell me more.
Starts with us. So I recently went to Egypt, as you do when you love the place. And actually, I did this podcast just before, and I actually did a marijuana journey. And I ended up, whilst in it, it was really cool. It was like whole set up like a ritual. It was amazing. And I ended up speaking with the spirit or the consciousness that governed the spirit of the plant, marijuana. And she showed me a way to communicate with anything through a light of dance. So like we were light dancing, and as soon as we did this dance, I could speak to her. And I took that concept to Egypt, and I stayed about 11 minutes from the pyramids. I was right there, and I did it, and they started speaking to me, and it was wild. It was wild.
Can you share some of the messaging?
The main thing was that because I felt the energy there was really, I felt sad actually. I felt like it was the fall of something that was great, but I also knew that it's on its way back. And there were three sisters that joined the heavens and the earth, and they've lost their magic because the magic that powers them is us as a collective. We have to find that within ourselves through remembering our sacredness, and that I was to go and show other people how to do that or teach. The only way I could do that was by doing it myself. Hence, me being here doing this, I guess.
Mm.
Kind of like pushed the journey a lot. After that, I literally came back, and on the solstice, I got some tattoos which represented this whole process. Being it that if I'm going to wear these powerful symbols on me, that I should live by it. And since I have
Yeah, embodiment, right?
massively, massively. So yeah, that was wild. Doing that, going back to Egypt with this medicine as well, getting to go onto the pyramids and sit there and channel like light codes and stuff like that, and bring them in so that I can bring them back and put them into my elixirs and whatever I do. It was a powerful experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I got a message before you came on today about there's some light codes going to come through in this chat. So I don't know if they're just going to be coming through with our conversation, our words, or if there's a process you want to do to connect or drop in.
I think anything that comes out of you is light codes.
Mm-hmm.
It's all any information that's channeled through your heart.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is what a light code is.
Mm. And do you feel like as we expand into more of that light, that's naturally activating, people around us, our environment? It's like a natural alchemy.
1,000%. I think what is the scale? I'm not sure where it's from. But they say if you're operating even at the frequency of love, just one person, you affect.
528 hertz.
Not sure about the exact frequency, but
I think
around
it is. Yeah.
that you, as a byproduct of that, you affect 50 million people around you.
Oh, wow.
It's one person. And I tapped into this like during COVID, which is why it made me even more comfortable being a hermit, because I just did my work that I needed to do. But also, actually, during COVID, I was because I did not get the jab. I did not, obviously. For me, that was my journey. But I was positioned, and I still worked because I was an essential worker. So I opened a cafe for youth to teach them how to get into hospitality during. So I was in this situation where I was just bombarded around me by everybody, and it was, I don't know, I guess I gave them perspective, and I was just being myself. But it was definitely needed some happiness and light around that time because it was pretty wild.
Yeah, especially in Melbourne, right? So you were in Melbourne.
It was wild. We had like a 5K lockdown, 8 p.m. curfew. Like it was pretty ridiculous.
And do you feel like there will be some travel for you overseas?
Yeah, always.
Well, yeah.
So I get to, luckily enough, as part of the bartending guild, I've been able to travel once a year around the world to represent Australia for spinning bottles and stuff. So being in the role that I'm at now, I will be traveling every year, and every year the competition's held in a different country. This year will be Portugal.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So I will be there in Madeira. So that's going to be fun. And the cool thing about that is that that's like all the work that I've talked about is what it is, and it's beautiful, and I love it. But I actually really think that I actually know that this bartending stuff is going to make the most difference out of everything.
Why?
Why? This is why. So 3 years ago, I think I went to Cuba, and I've kind of always known it because drinking's always been my problem. Like, not my problem. I'll say this: drinking has been one of my biggest teachers. Like wild. But also, it doesn't serve me on the path I need to go. But it's given me so much resonance into people who do drink and people who have substance abuse issues and all that sort of stuff. So that whole space, I'm all about it. I'm very much in tune with it. So 2 years ago, and I could feel this coming the whole time. was like, why have I jumped back in bartending? I'm not drinking anymore. But I started winning competitions when I stopped, and I started taking Ormus, and I didn't even need to practice, and I'm going to worlds, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, this hasn't happened before. And then I would go there and I would realize, I remember the first year they were like, Australia, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. And they were like, oh, we're going to drink. I'm like, oh, I don't drink. And they were like, what? And it was wild for them, for like the biggest drinking country, because obviously Australia was wild to not drink. And then I started inspiring a few other people not to drink. And come Cuba 2022, I'm down on the beach doing breath work and doing my own thing. People started asking me what I was doing. Then I ended up with a few guys down there, and I ended up starting to teach the heads of other countries about what I'm doing and consciousness. I ended up teaching yoga classes in Cuba, and I ended up doing breath work with a guy who had never done it before, and he won the entire competition and now is the ambassador for the world.
Wow.
So fast
Cool.
forward, it's wild. So fast forward 2 years, and on that year, when I flew over, it was just during COVID. So America hadn't opened up for anyone who like wasn't vaxxed. So I couldn't travel. And 2 weeks before the competition, Canada dropped the thing. So I took this like almost 2-day flight. It was wild. I had a 17-hour stopover in Quebec, Canada. I think that's what it's called. It's like French.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I fasted for 2 days. And on my trip over there, it was sending me all these messages like, this is part of your path and it's all here. And it's about changing the way people drink. You're going to change the way people see drinking and all this. And I was like, oh.
Mm.
Then next year, I could feel it all coming in because I was making elixirs already. I was like, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward to this year. And last year, I was telling the other people that I was competing with, and I'm doing conscious talks in Rome last year about where I think this industry is going. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, in 10 years, no one's going to be drinking. Everyone's healed. Everyone's healing and is going to be healed, and the new generations don't want to drink. Consciousness is going to be trending. Like, it's the thing. We're in the age of Aquarius. We're slipping into the golden age. Like, this is where it's at. Like, it's all the older people, like, it's going to be outdated. What's coming in is being healthy. And I was like, I see a world where we're taking elixirs, where you go into a bar and the bartender is going to be like almost like a therapist. Be like, what's happened today? I broke up with my partner. Well, cool. This one is going to help you relieve stress. And this has got an ingredient to do this and this and this, which is exactly what I plan on bringing out in about 2 months. So
Cool.
bringing products that are conscious enhancing. Well, that's not how we're selling it, but they are natural mood enhancing elixirs
Mm-hmm.
that will be that you can add to drinks.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea will be you pick a mood and you pick a flavor baseline. And that's how your night is. So I've been taking and testing these for the last 6 months, back-to-back festivals, just having this sort of stuff and my own elixirs, and they're wild and they're so good. So the idea is to share that as much as I can, and then go teach people at the world competition. There's the head of 70 countries there, the best bartenders from 70 countries and their guilds, and they've become my family in the last 4 years. And the main guy, I just had a chat with him about all this, and he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Bro," because they know I don't drink, and they know where I'm at in regards to like spirituality and stuff. So they're all excited. I reckon it's not reckon it's gonna be the way we shift.
Mm-hmm.
I call it conscious consumption.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Right.
I see it going wild because I've been doing it for the last 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Like super sustainable. Pick a mood, 3 different moods, add it to your drink, go have fun.
Great. So they're herbal. Yeah.
All
Great.
herbal, all natural,
Yeah.
all legal.
Yeah. That's great. That's the future right here.
It is. It is. It is indeed.
Yeah. Because, okay, so with alcohol, yeah, I mean, it's obviously like been around for so long and it's part of like so many celebrations and it's, accessible and it becomes part of culture, right? And yeah, it's such a big thing. but you were doing a video talking about how it extracts the essence and the soul out of things. And therefore, we got to be careful when we are drinking alcohol because we can be quite open energetically and other darker forces and things can come in. Is that right?
Correct. My feelings or thoughts, I don't think anything comes in. I think they come
Mm-hmm.
out. I think we have the universe within us.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, oh, this jumped into me. No, I think it comes out. And I think energetically, whether it be auric or through your heart field, that when you do poison your body, that these things are able, well, you're going to drop into a frequency that matches something on that level and it's able to tap into
Mm-hmm.
you and jump in. I think in the video I talk about your body being at such a toxic level that your body, your soul can't be in it. So it pretty much taps out. That's what I feel like you'd black out. So I definitely used to black out like a lot. And I would
Mm.
not even know what happened. And apparently it was really fun. But, but yeah, so although it's been a
Mm.
massive thing throughout history, it's, to be honest, it's mainly been, I used to think it does have its uses. I mean, we use alcohol to extract the essence out of plants and stuff for tinctures. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It has its uses, but like with everything, there's balance needed with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has its use because it taught and teaches me so much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Without it,
Yeah.
I would never know how dark my life could be,
Mm-hmm.
which is the only way that I can understand the opposite end of that.
Mm.
So yeah, it's not
Mm.
a, it's a gift if anything.
Mm. The contrast.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep. So it's all about frequency. It's all about how we're vibrating, right? Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And what, is there anything else front of mind that you want to share with the listeners today that might uplift and inspire them?
Oh, yeah. The only thing I can say is with all this stuff going around, there's so much out there. The number one thing I would recommend to do is just be kind. Just be kind to yourself and you'll be and other people. That's it. Just be kind and try to see a little bit of God in everyone, if you believe in that or the divine, because it's in us all. And there's a lot going on out there about like what's your purpose and all this sort of stuff. And for me, it was a massive thing. And soulmates and twin flames. At the end of the day, be kind, follow your heart. And for me, and this is just how I feel, the only your purpose is to just be you, purely you. Whatever you feel drawn to, go do that. Whatever your heart says yes to, go do that. Your heart will smile, and that's how you know. Just do that. You don't have to be anything. I always thought I had to go heal the world and do this and that. My dog taught me, my OG teacher, by existing and just being himself, the most powerful being that I've ever met. That's all we need to do. Just by existing. He is the strongest healer I know, and he does nothing. He doesn't speak. He just exists. And I feel like when we do that without all the crap, trying
Mm-hmm.
to do anything and be stuff, and we just do what we love doing, that's it. That's our purpose. We're all different. We're all uniquely got these different templates that we're going to love that do different stuff to everyone else, which is awesome because it's unique and that's what we all are. And just do that. Just be you. That's
Mm.
your purpose.
Beautiful. Thank you. Well, how can people find you, Dennis, and connect with you?
You can find me. I have a social media called warrior_alchemy. Probably through there. I'm fairly active. There's a link in the link tree and stuff. There'll be a few other things popping up, especially with the elixirs, as that is going to be my primary focus over the next few years. And yeah, I mean, if you're meant to find me, you will. And if you're meant to watch this, you will. And
Mm-hmm.
see us all.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me for this conversation. And yeah, love and light to you.
Yo, love, light, night, dark, all the good things, all the bad things, everything, because it's all love. All right. Thank you very much for having me.
Pleasure. Thanks for joining me. Here are the key takeaways from the conversation with Dennis. See challenges as blessings. There are gifts to be found. Our own healing is not just about us. When we heal and do that work, it crosses generations and heals multi-generationally as well. So we are unlimited beings with sacred alchemy already within us. When we heal, remember to have a strong mindset. This will make all the difference to the outcome of your healing journey. Purify and tap into your inner gold. It is there. Know yourself. This will give you a sense of liberation and a strong sense of direction. See the divinity within everyone and remember kindness above all else. Remember your sacredness. And being healthy is the new high. You heard it here first. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. It means a lot to me. So thank you so much for being here, and let's spread the good vibes.